Good evening, everyone. I am Revati Haridas, and I am thrilled to be your moderator for this exciting evening. I am delighted to welcome everyone to a special webinar, Australia Calling, Unveiling Career Avenues for Students by FES Study Abroad. Thank you for being here with us today. Let me start with a brief introduction to FES Study Abroad. At FES, we offer study abroad services for students and professionals who want to pursue higher education overseas. We have offices in major Indian cities including Kochi, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Pune, and Delhi. Our goal is to help you achieve your dreams of studying abroad. We have the knowledge and connections to provide you with the support you need as you navigate international education. Whether you're dealing with complex application or adjusting to a new culture, we are here to help you with every step of the way. Today today's session will offer comprehensive insights into studying in Australia and unveiling the career avenues for the students. I am pleased to introduce Nadia Sait, our esteemed speaker for the session. Nadia serves as a Deputy Client Relation Manager at FES. Nadia is a seasoned professional with over 9 years of experience in education consulting and international student recruitment. Nadia is also a certified education agent training course and qualified education agent counselor with additional certificates in counseling and psychotherapy. We hope you find the session incredibly informative and inspiring. Connect with us on our social media handles for ongoing updates and personalized support. Please note that we will have a dedicated Q&A session towards the end of the webinar. So if you have any questions or enquiries during the session, feel free to send them via the Q&A option. Once again, thank you for joining us and we hope you enjoy this session. Now let me welcome Nadia. I'll hand it over to Nadia to start a session. Nadia, over to you.
Thank you, Revati. Thank you so much for that intro. I didn't know that I had so many accolades. Thank you so much for that. Welcome to the webinar on Australia Calling, Unveiling Career Avenues for Students. Career avenues, which is one of the major concerns of students once they completed their graduation. And we are here to give you some insights on the Australian career opportunities, job opportunities. Welcome and let's get started. Australia is one of the most popular destinations for international students from India. It is most sought after location. Uh, it comes in the top 6 destinations. It used to be other countries, but Australia has surpassed all those countries because it offers top class education. It is a very warm and welcoming multicultural society, and the wages are very high when you compare it to other countries, and also the lifestyle, the higher quality of lifestyle is something that Australia offers, and which makes it very attractive for our students. Next slide, please. Yes. So, industries in demand. The most sought after industry in um, Australia would be healthcare. The nurses in Australia are very popular for their profile, and especially in Kerala, many of our students have gone on for their for the bachelor's in nursing and master's in nursing, and have become registered nurses and have a very successful career. And construction is another opportunity industry where there is a lot of demand. One of the reasons for that would be Australia, the geography of Australia, where the cities of Melbourne, Sydney, and Queensland are the most populated, and towards the coastline, that is where the most population is. So they have had to do a lot of research on sustainable construction. And also, one fun fact, the Olympics of 2032 will be hosted in Queensland, in Australia. And so there is a lot of constructions going on. There is a lot of infrastructure developments happening right now in Australia. So right now, for the civil engineers, for the architectures, this would be a great time to go into Australia and have a great career there. It is going to be a safe career for the next 10 years. So this would be a great time for that. And of course, IT information and communication technology is also a very popular industry. Australia is a hub of for technical innovation, and that has led to a surge in the demand for skilled IT professionals. And many of the major IT companies have a head office, one of their head offices or their main offices in Sydney and Melbourne. And other than that, the other high demand sectors would be finance and banking, marketing, and communications, of course. So Australia offers many exciting career opportunities for graduate with specialized skills and knowledge. Next slide.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the popular industries and the job roles. Now, coming to the job roles, one of the most high-paying roles is construction management, construction manager. Like I mentioned, it is only gonna go up from the this year onwards. And of course, surgeons, psychiatrists, we're all crazy. There is a high demand for psychiatrists as well, and software engineers, data scientists, and any job related to data is very popular in Australia right now. Data scientist, data analyst, anything related to data is very hot right now in Australia. So these roles demand a skill, advanced skill and experience. So a student who has completed their bachelor's and goes to Australia for their master's and has a little bit of experience can go a long way in Australia. The starting range of salary would be around 70,000 AUD, and it can go up to 7 lakh AUD per year, depending on the specific roles. Like a data scientist would earn more than a data analyst, just for an example. And also the location as well. Like I mentioned earlier, Sydney, Melbourne are the most populated cities in Australia, and you can make the most highest salary in Sydney and Melbourne than compared to other cities. But relatively, the living expenses also would be on the higher side of these cities. We'll go into the details of each territory in the coming slides. And some entry level options would be registered nurse. Student can directly go after 12th, they can go for the bachelor's in nursing, and they during the stay back period or the post study work period, they can get work experience in clinics and hospitals, most of which is already provided by the universities that they would study in. And if it is a course that has all or meets all the requirements to become a registered nurse, it makes it easier for the students. And there are many students who go to Australia after their bachelor's and masters of nursing. Again, they would have a lot of opportunities for work experiences, and leading to the registration of nurses, which is one of the most high paid jobs in Australia. Then software development, marketing assistant, financial analyst, accountant. These are some of the entry level jobs. And even for the entry level jobs, the starting salary would be around 70,000 AUD per year, and with a lot of potential for growth and salary increases every year. Healthcare and IT, like I mentioned, are the most sought after career avenues for Indian students. And like I mentioned earlier, the factors that influence your salary would be the location and your experience. So, a student with no job experience also can get high paying jobs. Uh, and of course, it will be different from for a person who has more experience. And Queensland is a place which is it is a metro city, but it is not as expensive as Sydney and Melbourne. Then we have Perth and Adelaide, which are also cities that are coming up, developing cities where the living expenses would be slightly less than Sydney and Melbourne, but the standard of living is quite high, and the salary also that you make would be at par with all the other cities. Yeah. And one of the most important questions that the students have is about the part-time jobs. Would they be able to go for part-time jobs while they are studying? How much would it pay? How long can they work legally? Pre-COVID, it used to be 20 hours per week and 40 hours per fortnight for students. And during COVID, it was unlimited hours for the students, but then there was a cap up by 2023 for students of 48 hours per fortnight during their semesters. So while they're studying during their um, class hours, or while they're studying, it would be 48 hours per fortnight and unlimited hours during breaks and holidays. That does not mean like if you get a national holiday. No, that's not what it means. It means that during their semester break, so once they've completed semester one, they would get a couple of months off, and during that time they can work unlimited hours. So it is a great way to make a living and gain experience, improve your language skill, improve your social skills. And many of the students depend on part time also to fund their studies, which is not recommended actually. But yes, many students depend on the part time jobs for their living expenses. And it is a great way for networking also for the students. And many of the universities would have a bulletin board where they post the job opportunities, part-time jobs options that are available for the students. And places where the students are staying, they would also have a bulletin board where all the part-time jobs are posted. And since many of these cities have a moving population of students, as soon as a student graduates, they leave and a new set of students come in. So there would be always availability of part-time jobs in Australia. And Melbourne is known as the coffee drinkers hub. Lots of coffee shops in Melbourne. And so that's why very common part-time job is baristas, waitress and waitresses. And Sydney is very popular for its cafes and restaurants, food hub of Australia. And in the regional areas like Perth, Adelaide, Tasmania, there would be options to become retail assistants or tutors. And these are some of the part-time wages, hourly wages that would be available in Australia. And another fun fact, Australia has the most pays the highest minimum wages than compared to anywhere else in the world. And Australia, another good thing about Australia is the high employment rates. Graduates from Australian university generally enjoy a low unemployment rate, because many of the universities are rated based on their graduate employability also. So there is a strong competition between many universities. They compete with each other on the graduate um, job. I'm sorry, I'm blanking here. So yeah, many of the universities compete with each other to have their most graduates employed as soon as the students graduate. And the education system of Australia is also known for its high quality and global recognition, making many of the graduates highly competitive in the job market. It is because there are only 43 universities in the entire Australia, and out of that, 37 universities are public funded, and only the rest of the few are the private universities. So when the university is public funded, the government funded universities have to deliver a high quality of education. They have to have industry partners. They have to provide options for the students for partnership, for internships, and part-time options also. So when you join a university, top ranking university, all their industry partners would be Fortune 100 or Fortune 500 companies. And tier 2 universities also have Fortune 500 companies as their industry partners. So students will have a lot of opportunities for internships and jobs after they graduate from an Australian university. And Australian degrees, Australian universities are highly accredited and reputable across the world, and these recognition make an Australian degree a valuable asset in the global job market. Uh, uh, Not only in Australia, but outside Australia as well. So we have had many students from who have moved from Australia to other countries like USA, Canada, because their degree is highly sought after. And the student also, when they come back to India, their degree proves to be a very valuable asset. And like I mentioned earlier, many of the universities have strong industry uh, connections. The top tier one universities would have Fortune 100 companies as their industry partners, and tier two universities would have Fortune 500 companies as their industry partners. And these help the students with their internships and placements and networking events. And many of the universities also have guest lectures who are from the industry, not just the professors. There would also be visiting faculty who are from the industry, who are actually working in the industry, who share their real life experiences with the student. So this helps the student get in touch with the real world, and get a lot of industry contacts as well. So these networking opportunities help the students land a job even while they are studying. Yeah, next slide. So again, networking, that is a word of the hour. So networking and jobs search strategies. Like I mentioned earlier, every university competes with each other for the ranking of being the most, having the most number of employed graduates. Online portals like Seek and Indeed. Seek is the most popular in Australia. Like we have Naukri.com here. Seek is the most popular, and the second would be Indeed in Australia, where you can search for job openings. We have had students who would search for jobs, part-time jobs, while in India. Right before their visas has been finalized, they search for their jobs, land the jobs even before they have reached Australia. So that is the kind of networking they can do through Seek and Indeed. Of course, entry level jobs initially, and also internships are also listed in Seek and Indeed. And regular, the students should regularly keep checking these online portals for the updates. And every university also organizes career fairs for the students. Some universities organize one per year, and some universities organize two career fairs per year, where the companies would come to the university, wherever the career fair is set up, and the students can meet their potential employers and learn about the industry. So many students have asked us, would there be campus placements in Australia? No, there wouldn't be campus placements. Companies don't come to you. You have to go to the companies, and the universities organize this avenue for it's a platform where the students can meet with their potential employees, and highlight their skills and experience. And it's a very welcoming fair where all the employers would answer all your questions, and all the available opportunities are mentioned. Right, even before the career fair is organized, so that you can shortlist which institutions, which organizations you want to meet, and start networking. And also, every university would have, big or small, tier one, tier two, tier three, all universities have a dedicated career services wing. And the one of the best things would be the career counselor would reach out to the students not towards the end of the program, but they would work closely with the student as soon as the course starts, even so that the student can focus on what they need to do. So they'll have an idea of what needs to be done, how their future is going to be, and how they want their career to be shaped. So all of this career counseling starts during the first year of the course itself. And these career counselors would help the student with their resumes, their cover letters, their interview preparations, specialized workshops for the students. And also, there is a large alumni network for all the students where there would be a university platform for the alumni where the current students can connect with their alumni and seek their advice and on their advice and insights on the jobs. And again, networking platforms like LinkedIn is also very popular, and it's where you can connect with the people in your field. And like I mentioned, networking is a major part of a stepping stone for a student's career and the chances of securing a job. And during internships, again, the students must network. And we all always advise our students to have a balance between your work and your studies and your social life, so that you can network, you so that you can make use of any opportunity for networking, like uh, picnics. I've had students who have landed jobs at a picnic, networking through picnics. So we always encourage our students to go out and join as many clubs as possible: sports club, poetry clubs, chess club, any clubs that you have an interest in. Please attend those. Please go join the clubs and network as much as possible. Yes. And like I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the session, that Sydney, Melbourne, and Queensland are known as a major cities, are popular cities. Other than that, the other territories in Australia, the regional areas, would be Adelaide, Perth, Tasmania, Darwin. These are some of the places that are known as the regional areas. The job opportunities in the regional areas is quite different from the cities. Like for example, Sydney and Melbourne are the most populated cities, and that would be the IT hub, just an example. And Perth is popular for its mining. So if a student is interested in mining or rig operations, something like that, Perth would be a great option for them. And a student, if they're interested in shipbuilding or marine biology, Tasmania would be a great option because it is a an island separate from the mainland, few hours from the mainland. And Tasmania has the most cleanest air in the world, I've heard. So a student who's looking for marine courses or shipbuilding, Tasmania would be a popular destination for that. And Darwin is mostly desert. Darwin is the least populated area. Another fun fact, the Mad Max movies are shot in Australia. Towards the middle of Australia is Red Desert. That's where the movies are made. Mad Max mainly, and many other movies as well. So every region in Australia has a different sector to offer for the students, and the regional areas would have an extended visa option for the student. Like in Sydney and Melbourne, if the post-study work visa is for 2 years, in the regional areas, it can go up to 3 years to 4 years, depending on the skills. And the living cost is very low compared to the cities. And there is a strong demand for skilled workers in these regional areas. And like I mentioned earlier, very unique work opportunities in the regional areas, depending on the culture and the landscapes and the communities. And so this can be a very valuable asset and a personal and professional growth for the students who go for choose a regional area in Australia. Next slide. The skill shortage, the Australian government has a skill shortage list published every year for all categories of visa. And for the international students, it would be the temporary graduate visa of subclass 485 temporary graduate visa. And this skill occupation list is updated every year to meet the skill shortages of the country at that year. So finance, education, and engineering, healthcare. These are some of the skills that have always been there in the skill shortage list and have not gone off. STEM subjects in education and financial analyst. That is some of the popular skills that are in shortage in Australia. And of course, engineering, like I mentioned earlier, civil engineering is one of the most popular skills that is sought by the country. And of course, healthcare. Australia has one of the best healthcare facilities in the world. So there is a huge requirement of healthcare professionals. And in Australia, during COVID, they had completely shut down. And they were able to survive without the support of without the support of other countries, because it is a very self-sustained country. Agriculture is also a very strong industry in Australia, so they were self-sustained, and because of the strong healthcare, they were able to survive the COVID, right through the COVID, without the support of many other countries, and that's why they were able to shut down for 2 years. And even though the um, economy of the country took a hit during the COVID, but it was only for a very, very short period of maybe a few months. And the economy of Australia recovered much faster than any other country. Next slide. I would like to give some tips on success for having a strong career in Australia. So, like I mentioned, skill shortage list is updated every year. Be on the lookout for the skill shortage list. Once you've completed your studies, go through the skill occupation list and focus on developing the skills that could help you fetch a job, and in a job that is in high demand in Australia. You may have to attend some workshops and taking some online courses. There are many courses available that can offer you points also when you're applying for your PR. And keeping up with the industry trends and skill shortages can help your career a lot. And be prepared to adapt to the changing job market. Earlier, it used to be data managers. Now there is a huge demand for data scientists and data analysts. And you have to always stay up to date in the industry trends and be willing to learn new skills. And again, I would repeat, networking and mentorship is your mantra to get great jobs in Australia. Build a relationship, join as many clubs as possible, meet people through internships and the guest faculty that come in, network with them. So that would help you a lot. And persistent and hard work. Hard work is always appreciated in Australia. I would also just like to add that Australia is one of the very few countries that has never had a hard hit on the recession. They've never had a recession. They hadn't had a recession in the past 27 years, except for a brief time during COVID. And even then, they recovered in a couple of months. And Australia pays well for your hard work. Keep researching on the jobs. Keep working hard, and always try to upskill. And through networking, you can always find the right job. if you put in enough time and effort. And coming to FES, how FES can help you uh, get to your dreams of a lucrative career in Australia. So, FES started in 2023 in Kochi and Bangalore. We have quickly expanded to different cities in India all across. We have around 9 branches as of now, and we plan to have around 14 branches towards the end of 2025. So we are there in every city to help you achieve your study abroad goals. And we also have plans for expansion to 10 more locations in India and also China and Sri Lanka, and by 2025. And by 2026 we have also expansion plans to Southeast Asian countries, and UAE, Nigeria, South Africa as well. So we hope to see you in one of our offices very soon. Next slide. And what are the services that FES can offer the students? Our core services are, of course, student counseling, career counseling, and language and test prep. And we help you with your profile screening and background verification, and your and admission guidance, and of course, visa application support and pre-departure assistance. And we also offer auxiliary services like travel assistance, forex, education loans, insurance assistance, and destination country support, because we have offices in over 60 locations all across the globe. Next slide. And the student services that we specialize in are, of course, student counseling and admission support, statement of purpose, which is a very important document for every application. We have a dedicated team to help you with your statement of purpose and letter of intent. And we also have a dedicated team for your language assessment and your test prep. And we offer coaching classes as well, and also the exam registrations. And we also offer support in seeking scholarships from the universities and financial guidance. And internship guidance is something very unique that we offer our students. Um, like in the host countries, we would be able to support you for in internships guidance, and of course visa services, which is our forte, and pre-departure assessment. And once you've completed your graduation, we would also be able to assist you in your PR and investor visa guidance as well. And immigration has always been our forte, and we would be able to offer immigration assistance also for the students.
Thank you, Nadia, for that insightful presentation. It has been very interesting, and we
Thank
have been hearing the networking and the hard work part very often in the session. So,
Yes,
yeah, we have received a few questions, which
sure,
I will read it out so you can answer it.
sure.
So, one thing that the students wanted to know is, um, what is the tuition fee and the living expense that can be expected? And there is an increase in living expense, there is a new changes in the visa and all the stuff. So if you could just brief it a bit, that would be really helpful for the students to understand here.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Revati, for the question. And for the fees, it would depend on the universities that you're applying for, but generally it would be in a range from around 12 lakhs to it can go up to 23 to 25 lakhs, also in the top universities, tier 1 universities. But yes, the starting fees for 1 year would be around 12 to 15 lakhs per year. And the living expenses that a student would it would also again depend on the city that they're living in. Like for example, in Sydney or Melbourne, it may cost a student around 1,400 dollars, or maybe it can go up to 2,500 AUD, Australian dollars, as well per month. But if you go to Perth and Adelaide or Darwin, it can go down to around 800 to $1,000, 1,000 Australian dollars per month. So this is the living expenses that the student will incur while they are staying in Australia. And the change in the living expenses that you were earlier talking about is the living expenses that a student has to show in the account here in India before they travel. So that used to be around 21,000. Now it has been increased to almost 29,000 for the visa purposes only. But that has nothing to do with the actual living expenses. The actual living expenses will be around 1,500 to 2,500 AUD per month.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nadia. This clarification was much required. Yeah. So there is one more question. Like, is there any regular placement drives that are happening, or you were mentioning about the bulletins, which will be available in every college or university, and also in the
Yes.
accommodation, right?
Yes.
So if you could just brief it there, that would also be helpful.
Sure. So, like I mentioned, every university have their career fairs once or twice every year. That is organized by the university, and the industry partners of the university would visit the fair and offer the students the whichever role that is open. That is one of the ways for the students to seek employment. Another would be seek.com, indeed.com. So these are some of the platforms that the students can use. Like I had mentioned earlier, students have some of the students have found jobs even before they have landed in Australia. And the bulletin board is usually for the part-time jobs. There would be a bulletin board where any employer part-time jobs like restaurants or coffee shops can come in and post their jobs. That also is available for the students who are looking for part-time jobs.
Okay. So there is one more question. How much scholarship funding are available for international students? Is there any limitation, or is there any special requirement that has to be completed for this to be eligible for the scholarship?
So, in Australia, almost all universities offer a scholarship. There is no separate application for that. Every university offers around 15 to 20% scholarship of the fees, first year fees. Some universities have also gone up to 25 percentage of their 1 year fees. So that is the application that is the scholarship that the university offers without any separate application. But there are other scholarships as well. Many universities offer the Dean Scholarship, or there would be Indian associations that offer scholarships. So those would require a certain percentage, high percentage, and also maybe a letter of recommendation. But that is a separate application, which is not along with the course application. That would be a separate application, and it would have to be applied months in advance of your class start.
Okay. So the scholarship will be given along with the admit letter, or is there any special procedures, or we'll have to apply individually? Like certain universities or certain other countries, there are chances that they will give it along with the admit letter, and if they didn't get it, they'll be applying it for an external scholarship. So that does it work like that, or it comes along with the admit
So the scholarship is offered along with the tuition along in their
admit
offer
letter?
letter. It would admit letter, offer letter. It would be mentioned, and the student would have to pay the fees only after deducting the scholarship, which
Scholarship.
can vary from 15 to 25 percentage, depending on the university.
Okay. So there is one more question, like, are there any special advantage for the students studying at the top ranked universities in Australia?
Yes, that is one question that I've been asked many times. There are universities, tier two universities and tier one universities who offer the same program, but different fees. On the higher side in the tier one universities. So, what I would say is the industry partners of the tier one universities would be the Fortune 100 companies, and the industry partners for the tier two universities would be the Fortune 500 company. So the program taught there would be the same, the subjects are the same, the course, the work is the same, because all the universities in Australia have to follow a certain set standards, which are set by the government. So the teaching subjects, the curriculum would be not very different from one university to the another, but the industry partners, that would vary a lot. So if a student is part of tier one university, top ranking university, so they would have the access to the Fortune 500 companies, and the guest faculty that would come in would be more experienced, would have real world experiences. I'm not saying that tier 2 universities are not as good. They are. The quality of education is almost the same in all the universities, but then the job fairs, the industry partnership, the internship options, that would be very different from top ranking universities than a tier 2 universities.
Okay. There is one more interesting question. Is filing an income tax return mandatory for international students in Australia, and why? Because
Yeah.
many people know that it is a mandatory stuff, but they wanted to know like why as well.
Exactly. So, why is the question? It is mandatory. Yes, 2 to 3 years of income tax file returns. If you have to show the ITR returns, it is just a way for the Australian government to check if you have an income. And would the parents of the students have the ability to support the students throughout the course of the student? Parents may have the income, but they do not have any document to prove that. So that is why the Australian government had and the High Commission decided to pick the ITR as a form of proof of that income, because it is government verified. It does not mean that you have to pay income tax. You just need to show that you have filed an income. Like income tax returns, and we just need the acknowledgement page. You don't have to pay the taxes, or you don't have to be a tax paying citizen. Only the document of income tax returns would suffice.
Okay, so I had this misconception. Like, I've heard people saying like you should file an IT for 12 lakhs or anything as such. So you mean to say like, is there any cap for the
Yeah.
income or
Yes. Yeah, that is the misconception. There is a
okay,
misconception that you have to pay taxes of 12 lakhs. You have to pay tax of 15 lakhs. No, you only have to have an income
okay,
of 12 to 15 lakhs.
all right.
It can be parent one, parent two can have a combined income, combined family income of 12 to 15 lakhs is what is asked. Income, not income tax. They're not asking for the tax. They're asking for the income.
Okay. So since you were talking about this combined fund, so do we have any list of sponsors who can fund the student, or it should be only parents, or because there are certain cases where the student would be sponsored by some other external person or a friend. So how does
Yes.
it being calculated?
Yeah. So, friend, we love our friends. We would love to help our friends as well, but unfortunately, friends cannot sponsor a student. It has to be the blood relatives. Parents are by default. Parents would be the sponsors. Both parents are considered as one sponsor, and the student can have two more sponsors, but it has to be a blood relative. It can be maternal, paternal, aunt, uncle, grandparents, but unfortunately, cousins. No, we have the best relationship with our cousins, but unfortunately, they also cannot sponsor us. It can only be siblings. In some cases, in laws also, but that would depend on, it would be on case to case basis. But yeah, they have to be a blood relative
Okay.
of the
So
student, not the parents.
all right, okay. So there was if it is maternal or paternal grandparents, I think like there is a cap of like 80% or they
Yeah.
can fund only 70 or
Yes.
80% of this
Yes.
fees structure. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Parents can sponsor only 60 to 70%, and the other relatives can sponsor around 30 to 40%. But 40 also is not as safe. It would always be to on the safer side. It's always best for the sponsors, relative sponsors, to show around 20 to 30%, and the parents can show the rest of the 70%.
Okay, thank you for the clarification, Nadia.
Thank you.
Let's see if there are any more questions.
Sure.
Are Australian degrees recognized internationally is one of the question.
Yes, yes, they are. Every university you can go and check. There would be a CRICOS code for the university. There would be a CRICOS code for the programs as well. These are set standards by the government. Since most of the universities are public funded, we can assure, the government can assure that all the Australian degrees are very highly valuable.
Okay, I think that is the last question.
Thank you. Sure.
We'll wait for 2 more minutes if we could have any question, and we'll wind up.
Sure. It's been a great session, Revati, and thank you so much.
Same here, Nadia. It was very informative. Many
Sure.
of my questions got clarified, and you
Sure.
have
Glad.
tempted me to visit and study in
Australia.
Australia probably. Yeah.
Yes. Sure. So one application from the webinar done.
Yeah.
Sure. So if there are no more questions, I guess we can
Yeah, I
call it a
think the
night.
questions are done. Yeah. So
Sure.
yes. So I am winding up the call. So thank you all for your participation and great question. We hope you found the session informative and helpful. To join more informative sessions and webinars, please do follow us on the social media handles www.fpsindia.com and drop in your inquiries to receive a personalized guidance. Thank you once again and have a great evening. See you in the next webinar.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Good